We thank you so much for watching Law School Made Easy at Law School Made Easy 256 every Sunday at 2. Just tune in. We have a live broadcast, a live show every Sunday at 2 p.m. on Law School Made Easy, where we go to interact together, to have a live interaction. You interact with us, you ask your questions, we answer them instantly. Any topic you have a problem, we have about 2 hours and a half every Sunday from 2 p.m. to 4:30 every Sunday. We are there to discuss, to help you simplify the law. So today we are here for sale of good, and we are going to discuss the reservation of right of disposal. Some other writers call it the retention clause, or the retention right, or the reservation right. So this is what we want to discuss under sale of good. But important for us to notice, number one, that reservation of right of disposal, this is a protection to the seller. This is a protection given to the seller. This is under section 28 of the Sale of Goods and Supplies Act. This is where you find the reservation of right of disposal. That the reservation of right to dispose, that the seller has the right to dispose, that the property does not pass to the buyer until when the seller has guaranteed so, or the seller has allowed. Okay? Now, section 28 provides that where there is a contract of sale of specific goods, or when goods have been appropriated to the contract, that the seller reserves the right to dispose of, to pass the property or the goods to the buyer until certain conditions have been fulfilled. That when there is a contract and goods have been appropriated to a contract of sale, that a buyer, this now means that we have a buyer here and we also have a seller here. So they enter into a contract and they appropriate certain conditions or certain terms or certain goods to that contract. Now, meaning that there is a willing buyer and there is a willing seller. Okay? But now, we are saying that the property in good does not pass until when the conditions which have been put prior to the making of the contract of sale have been fulfilled. So that is what we call reservation of right of disposal. That the seller has the right to dispose of the goods until that time when the seller releases the goods. When the seller's condition has been fulfilled, that is when you can say that the buyer has now bought officially and the goods now belongs to the buyer. Now, the reason why we are discussing this, mainly they were protecting sellers from one, payment of the price, payment of the consideration. That there are contracts which are made, and when they are made, maybe the consideration, which is the price, is going to be paid maybe after delivery, maybe after a certain time. There are conditions which are normally put during a contract of sale. Number two, they were preventing sellers from buyers who may get insolvent, buyers who may run bankrupt. So this reservation clause aimed at controlling or helping seller on those willing buyers who are likely to get insolvent, run bankrupt. Remember, someone who is bankrupt, run insolvent, you cannot contract because you have been declared as somebody who has run bankrupt. So those are the main reasons why we have the reservation of right of disposal. Now, they occur in various ways. Number one, when the goods are delivered, it doesn't matter the moment the goods are delivered to the buyer or to the agents of the buyer, it is okay, the goods have been delivered, but they do not pass. The ownership stays with the seller until that time when the condition which has been put, for example, payment of the money of the price, has been fulfilled. That is when the property now becomes that of the buyer. Let me repeat this. We are saying that someone will say, but the goods have been now delivered to the buyer or his agents. Yes, the goods have been delivered, but the moment they are conditioned, for example, payment of the price, then those goods will not pass to the buyer, even when the buyer is in the possession of the goods, until that condition which was put by the seller has been fulfilled. In this case is paying of the money. Okay? That is one of the ways how the reservation of right of disposal operates. If you look at section 28, subsection 3 of the Sale of Goods Act, it actually says that where goods are shipped, now we are discussing goods are shipped, okay? Where goods are shipped, and by the bill of landing, the goods are deliverable to the order of the seller or his agent, the seller is prima facie taken to reserve the right of disposal. Okay? Now, when the goods are shipped and the bill of landing is a receipt given to those goods which are deliverable or which are used by ship. That receipt, which section 1 defines bill of landing. Now, section 3 is telling you that when goods are shipped and by the bill of landing the goods are deliverable to the order of the seller or his or her agent, the seller is prima facie taken to reserve the right of disposal. The seller will reserve the right of disposal. Okay? Then we have section 4, subsection 4 of section 28, subsection 4, which says that where the seller of goods draws on the buyer for the price and transmits the bill of exchange and bill of landing to the buyer together to secure acceptance or payment of the bill. That there, when the seller draws on the buyer for the price and transmits, now the seller transmits the bill of exchange, the check, and the bill of landing, the receipt, to the buyer to secure the buyer's acceptance. Now, in that case, the buyer is bound to return the bill of landing if he or she does not honor the bill of exchange. Now, if the buyer does not honor the bill of exchange, the check, or pay the money, then he is bound to return the bill of landing. He returns our receipt, and that means that the goods now are still with the seller. He reserves, unless the buyer honors too the bill of landing and the bills of exchange. Then another one, where the buyer wrongfully retains the bill of landing. If the buyer pretends and retains the bill of landing, the receipt of the goods, the property in the goods does not pass to him. The moment the buyer stays with one, remember we said the seller has taken two, the bill of landing and the bill of exchange, for the acceptance of the buyer. The buyer to agree on acceptance. So the act is saying that if the buyer does not honor the bill of landing, if the buyer does not honor the bill of exchange, then the buyer is bound to return the bill of landing. That the buyer should honor the two. If he does not honor the bill of exchange, then he returns our receipt of the goods. He returns the bill of landing. But where the buyer falsely retains the bill of landing, then the property and goods do not pass to him. The property and goods do not pass to him, simply because he has not honored the bill of exchange. We said reservation of right of disposal means that there are conditions which have been set by the buyer. The moment you don't fulfill those conditions, the property in goods does not pass to you. You don't become the owner unless you fulfill those particular conditions that you have made prior to the making of contract of sale. So that is what we mean by reservation of right of disposal. Some people call it retention clause, others call it the reservation right, and very many others. So we thank you so much for watching Law School Made Easy at Law School Made Easy 256. Subscribe, share, like our videos. Until next time, thank you.